Picture this. It's Monday morning and you are on vacation. The room has a king-size bed, air conditioning, and the sun is just peeking in through the curtains. And there is nothing on your calendar today. And as you're getting dressed, you look down and have the complete shock of realizing your nipple is literally facing the wrong way. This was the start of my holiday. I immediately started poking around, and I felt nothing. So I went straight to Dr. Google, as one does, and I thought, maybe I have an infection. But 48 hours later, the pain started. And this time, I did feel a lump. It was so large, you could visibly see it under the skin. It was almost the size of an egg, and I was terrified. My family and friends journeyed with me through the whole diagnosis, and my spouse was holding my hand when the doctor said those terrible words that no one wants to hear. I'm sorry, but we drove straight from the doctor's office to my parents' house, and he burst into tears as we walked in the door. We didn't need to speak any words. They knew. So the very first time I had to say my diagnosis out loud was to my employer. I felt guilty about dropping all my projects with no notice, leaving my team with extra work. I was afraid they would resent me. And I was nervous about being forgotten. No logic, a lot of overwhelm. How would you respond to a colleague facing a crisis? Work and life collide more frequently than we think. Take a look around you for a second. It's estimated that 9 in 10 Canadians have at least one risk factor for heart disease or stroke. A third of us are managing some form of diabetes. And then there's cancer. 2 in 5 Canadians will be diagnosed in their lifetime, and the age is getting younger for some types. Now, you might have heard some of these stats in headlines. When I saw it all together, I found the data alarming, and this trend is global. Critical illness and chronic disease are happening with more frequency. My idea is that a manager's response when work and life collide is a true test of their leadership, because the way they respond creates a ripple that impacts everyone on the team. And make no mistake, people are watching how safe it is to disclose, because they know most managers are not prepared to hear, "I'm sorry, but I need some time off. Something's going on at home." Now, I was lucky to have a great manager. Martin is a deeply empathetic person, and he genuinely cares about how we're doing. It's how he starts every meeting, and that's why I felt comfortable telling him about the biopsy. But not everyone has a positive experience. Angelo was undergoing dialysis. He worked for a large company with a union, but his leave had not yet been formalized. But he's a conscientious man, so he continued to show up, trying to balance his responsibilities at work with treatment. When told by a new shift manager that he was being lazy, Angelo tried to explain, but there was no empathy. And he became desperately afraid of losing his job and the benefits he depended on. A manager's response can affect whether we heal or deteriorate. Collisions can also look like Mark, who describes his life as intense. His father has signs of dementia. It was going okay until he got a promotion, and now it's harder to focus. And there's this unspoken tension on his team. What keeps Mark up at night? How to tell his leader that he needs more flexibility. He's afraid of the repercussions. Not everyone feels safe to disclose to their leader, but when that moment is met with care, it can build trust, loyalty, and long-term engagement, because that ripple extends in all directions. To one side, you have an individual facing illness, and to the other, the entire team who experiences their leave, trying to manage their own work and pick up extra work, the projects, like the ones I dropped. There are leaders like Ruby, silently drowning under the extra load she's taken on to protect her team. And then there's the new hires, brought in to fill the gaps, but with no training because everyone's still trying to figure out their new normal. Most managers fear these disruptions as the end of productivity. But what the team really needs is someone who looks beyond the fact that work is measured by milestones, productivity, timeline, budgets, and what they need is someone with the skill and competency to communicate clearly, adapt expectations, provide resources that create clarity, and empower everyone to focus on what matters. When care is done with empathy and intention, I truly believe that it can shape employee health and organizational well-being. Now I want to take you back to my moment of impact when work and life collided. By the time we got the results of the biopsy, my manager was away on vacation. We had so many projects on the go, and Martin really needed the break. So my request for a leave of absence was to our VP, Mary Claude. She is caring, committed, and calm, all traits of an effective and empathetic leader. That call was virtual, and I was so nervous. I couldn't even sit to deliver my message. When she joined the call, there was no small talk. I just stood up and blurted out, "I'm sorry, but I have cancer and I need to go on leave. I'm going to write up a status document for everything that I'm working on, and I should have that to you in a few days." There was a long silence. And then she said, "Brooke, I am so sorry, but I don't want you to worry about us. We're going to take care of all your projects. I just need a list of what you're working on, and we'll figure it out. Don't do anything else. Take your time to go and receive love from the team." I still get goosebumps just remembering her words. And I knew in that moment that I wanted to return to work as soon as I was ready. Mary Claude's response to my moment of impact wasn't instinct. She intentionally demonstrated care and empathy when my work and life collided. You know the collision is coming. Someone on your team is going to say, "I'm sorry, but..." Do you feel prepared to lead through it?